Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today it was reported that the Rockets are expected to re-sign Fred VanVleet this offseason. It was reported earlier today that the Rockets are expected to re-sign Fred VanVleet and sign him to an extension in the offseason, and the plan for the Houston Rockets and Fred VanVleet in the offseason is for them to decline the team option, which is like a $44 million team option, and for the two sides to agree to a contract extension for at least the next couple years on a more a more appropriate number for Fred VanVleet. I mean, Fred has been good for this Rockets team. He's been great the last couple years. I'm sure he's every once in a while he has these really bad I think more than every once in a while has these really bad shooting nights, but he's made a huge impact facilitating and defensively for this team and just being the point guard of this team and running the offense. He's been huge, and these last couple of games you've really seen how much the Rockets have missed Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet has missed the last, I think it's like the last 8 games or whatever, last 7 or 8 games, and the Rockets are 2-6 or 2-5 in his absence, and so they've really missed him. On the overall in the year without Fred VanVleet are 4-7. So the Rockets missing Fred VanVleet, they're a different team. And when the Rockets originally signed Fred, they gave him this huge deal, and that was because originally he was coming on to a team that was a terrible team, terrible roster, and he was going to have this role as a vet leader, and that was a big reason why he was coming onto the team. And I mean, I feel like he still needs to be a vet leader. The young guys still need his voice. I think guys like Amen Thompson and Reed Shepherd, who still need more developing at the guard position, could definitely use Fred VanVleet as a veteran. But one thing that I know is different with this new contract that Fred VanVleet will receive is that ultimately this team is in a way better spot than it was when he originally signed with the Rockets. And I feel like one of the big reasons why the Rockets overpaid for Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet obviously was because they had to take on a huge role, being leaders and vet leaders for the young guys, but also because they were coming on to terrible teams, and I'm sure they maybe had opportunities to sign elsewhere with better teams, but the Rockets offered them the most money, and that's what happened. But this team is a lot better now, and I don't think Fred VanVleet's worth $40 million anymore. I mean, like the year the Rockets paid him, he was averaging 19.7 with 2 steals per game, 4 rebounds per game, and from 3 he was shooting 35%. The last 2 years he's been great with the Rockets, but has not been as good as he was with Toronto. With the Rockets in his 2 seasons, he's averaged 16-7, 1.5 steals per game, and from 3. With the Rockets, he has shot 37%, but this year is shooting 34%. I definitely think he's worth some good money. I mean, maybe half of what he's making now. I wouldn't be mad if he's making $20-25 million a year, at the most 30, just because he has a huge impact on this team, and he makes this team better. But for him to make $44 million is just ridiculous at this point. And I'm sure he even knows that. And the Rockets, I'm sure, don't want to pay him that much money. And we'll see what kind of deal he gets in the offseason. I think it's definitely going to be less than what his last contract was, for sure, especially as he gets older now. And the team gets better. And not only does the team get better and he gets older, but also he's played a little bit worse. But I think in the range of $25 to $32 million is what he'll get, potentially. We'll see what happens in the offseason. But I do know I've looked at the last 10 games and seen how much this team needs Fred VanVleet. There are a couple games a good chunk of these losses that the Rockets have had recently, where I look at it and the Rockets don't lose some of these games without Fred. For instance, the game in Brooklyn, the collapse that's in that game, the Rockets do not lose that game if they have Fred VanVleet. And there are a couple other losses the Rockets have had in the last couple weeks without Fred that I know they get the dub if Fred's out there. So they definitely have missed him out there on the court recently since he's been dealing with the ankle injury. Let me know your thoughts on the news in the comment section about Fred VanVleet expected to sign an extension in the offseason, and the team expected to also decline his team option. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Rockets.